Farewell, farewell, Doc. You will be missed. You've put in hard work, long hours, saving lives. It look like they're giving him a retirement departure party. He's 80 years old. Okay, you put in good deeds. You will be missed, Doc. But what happens when the people we depend on to save lives decide they've had enough? Across America, many doctors are leaving their profession, and it's raising serious questions about future health care. Many point to burnout, long hours, administrative demands, increasing pressure on the job, and most important, their freedom. So take a look at these compilations I put together for you guys, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comments.
I am closing my clinic. So just over 2 weeks ago, I did probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, harder than med school, residency.
No way. I would never redo med school. You couldn't pay me to do it. I think a lot of doctors, myself included, could have been successful doing absolutely anything else. Most other things in life are not as draining. They're not as stressful.
Don't become a doctor. It's not worth it.
Why I stopped being a doctor and went into real estate is because I want to do what I want with who I want and when I want. When I was in medicine, I was on their schedule. I had to work nights, weekends, holidays, times when I wanted to be with my family. I had to be in the emergency room working as a doctor, and that's something I did not want for the rest of my life.
I spent 5 years training to be a doctor and I quit.
I left my very successful career as a surgeon in private practice last year at the age of 44.
I quit my job as a doctor. 2 years ago, I walked away from specialty training.
I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon, and I left practice about a year ago.
Hey, what's up, Doc? Having a long day today. I'm retiring from medicine after practicing for 30 years in Sumter, South Carolina. It's been the joy of my life. But I read something that I found a folded piece of paper, really from 20 years ago, that was in my desk drawer, and I thought I'd share it with you, and I wrote myself a note, and it says, teach people to laugh, think, cry, and give, and they will heal. They will heal. And that it's been one of my go-tos in these exam rooms, just laughing, thinking, and crying, telling people to help one another for 30 years, and I'm going to miss it. But organized medicine's got some problems these days, and we need to disrupt it and fix it.
You might lose your doctor soon, and not because they retired, but because they walked away. I'm a board certified family medicine doctor, and I've watched good doctors disappear from the system. A new national study in Annals of Internal Medicine just confirmed it. So physician or doctor attrition is rising in every specialty since 2013. The numbers keep climbing. People think doctors just leave to rest or slow down or go on like a long vacation, but most aren't leaving because they're done with medicine. They're leaving because medicine as a system is done with them. Emergency medicine attrition doubled 3.1% to 6.6%. These are trauma doctors, critical responders, walking out after years of burnout, violence in ERs, impossible workloads. If they're leaving, the ones trained to run toward chaos, you know it's serious. General surgeons are leaving after a decade of training. Primary care, like mine, see, some say, I love my patients, but I can't survive this pace where you have paperwork that's greater than people, metrics is greater than healing, and screens are greater than stories. And here's the part nobody tells patients. When doctors leave, patients don't just lose appointments, they lose access. Longer wait times, rural clinic closures, delayed diagnoses. This isn't a doctor crisis, it's a community health crisis. So if your doctor seems tired, trust me, it's not a lack of passion. It's a system draining the very people trying to care for you. We can't fix healthcare if we keep losing the people who deliver it.
I don't think you should become a doctor if you're doing it just for the fame and the glory or just the egocentric, I'm a doctor. You definitely don't go to medical school. Don't waste your time.
33-year-old ENT surgeon, and I'm leaving medicine for good. No one would ever become a doctor with the intention of leaving medicine. We even see this modeled for us where surgeons operate well into their 70s, and even then somebody has to pry the scalpel from their hands. But for me, over the past 10 years in training and in practice, the disillusionment with medicine has been too great for me to stay.
I'm a physician assistant who left my job in clinical medicine. So I'm a primary care physician about burnout all the time. I'm always cautious to complain about my career as a doctor because I know it's something a lot of people aspire to, and in a lot of ways it is really great. But we can't solve a problem unless we can speak the truth. And the reality is a lot. And I struggle sometimes too. I worked with a doctor who I liked, who was burned out, and he was just getting through his days as fast as he could. And his complicated patients bounced off of him and went to someone else because they knew they weren't getting the kind of care they needed. And a lot of people talked a lot of shit about that guy, but I saw him dragging into clinic every day, doing the best he could to show up for people in a system that had just eaten him alive.
Docs are leaving medicine, and I am possibly might be one of them.
So I used to be a neurosurgeon. I went to college at MIT and did 4 years of medical school and 6 years of neurosurgery training, and I was a neurosurgeon for almost 10 years. I quit. But, a decision that involves 20 years of your life.
I'm a family physician that walked away from medicine. I left my clinical practice in 2024, and the reason I walked away wasn't because the work is hard. It's never been an easy profession. What I was struggling with was the moral injury of being able to take care of my patients the way I knew that they deserved, the way that I felt comfortable, the way that I knew I was doing right by them. That wasn't possible in the setting that I was working, and so I just left. I got burnt out. I had anxiety, and I just put it down. I said, this is not worth it. I have 3 small children. I'm out. Bye. And it wasn't until I started my own practice, a direct primary care practice, which if you don't know what direct primary care is, I highly suggest that you spend a little time on my page. So definitely flip through the videos. I just wanted to be able to give my patients the time they deserve, the attention, the customized care, and the financial transparency. I mean, there's no other way to me.
I'm quitting my job, and today's my last day as a doctor.
I am quitting medicine. Everyone else's. That's why I implore medical students to start exploring, what type of career path they want to go down much earlier on. Exploring things outside medicine, trying to diversify, trying to find the specialty that you think that is for you. I'm 6 months into F1 now, and it's been a massive learning curve, but it's been an enjoyable one. And I only thank that honestly I didn't listen to the outside noise, and I just, explored and persisted. The goal for me is to have a portfolio career, so I will have to create my own job description, and I suggest that you do the same.
I don't know if y'all know this, but they have been cutting a lot of doctors. I just seen a video, and I have to go Google this. They are cutting doctors. Okay, like people are working until the end of the month, and then after that they don't have a job, or of course they have to go find a job as a doctor. You mean to tell me that this world is want money so bad for all this other stuff that's really not important? So you're gonna cut doctors? I read it, and it's pretty much said they're cutting doctors, especially at the VA. It said the VA has a 95% low rate on having doctors. It's lower than normal, 95%. Okay, that when it comes time to set appointments, that your appointments can be booked out for months and months. Like, this is August. You couldn't probably see a doctor until like November, right? So I don't think people are paying attention to what's going on. If we don't have doctors, what are we doing? This is nuts. This is insane.
After 15 years of medical school, training, residency, fellowship, and the excitement of moving to a new city and getting a new job, I'm taking a break from medicine. And I know that probably sounds crazy to some people. I'm experiencing what the majority of physicians, especially surgeons, experience in the first 2 years of practice, and that is I'm leaving my first job. I spent a long time trying to become a doctor and get to this point. I did everything I could to avoid this moment, especially in my first year of practice, but here I am. You guys have been with me since the beginning, where I was in Dallas, Texas. I did all my school in Texas and ended up training at the hospital I was born at. I had a lot of trouble in residency after going viral online for spreading awareness about black positivity. I then set my sights to my dream program in Los Angeles, where I got to learn how to do spine surgery. And then I came to Atlanta, being the first city of my first job as an attending as a spine surgeon. But unfortunately, that first chapter is over. Currently sitting here, and this is my last day here. And like many doctors, I'm leaving my practice after 6 months of work. When I moved here, I never thought I'd get to this point. Most of us sign our first job thinking it's our forever job. We see ourselves in it, we get invested, we pour everything into the patients we see, but unfortunately it doesn't work out that way all the time. I'm leaving medicine, and I'll now be a full-time content creator and pre-med coach. These are things I've already been doing for 7 years, and I know that God wants me to do more content creation because He's allowed me to see how it has changed people's lives, people's careers. I've seen pre-medical students go from pre-med to residency, now to physicians. I've met people on random islands that told me they would have never pursued medicine unless they saw my videos. So I know this is right for me. Is it hard to deal with? It is, but if you pray for me, as I'm praying for myself, I think I'll get through it. And I'm excited to see what happens on the other end. There's a lot of things that I've done to prepare myself in this moment, mentally, spiritually, financially.
This is it, my last 3 days of call. It's gonna be hard not to be a neurosurgeon anymore because it's all I've known for so long. I mean, my whole life I've been so busy, running around, stress, call. I'm almost 62 years old, I'm getting older, and I wanna still be active. I wanna be able to do things I wanna do. Physically, and as you get older, it becomes harder. So I want to take advantage of that. It's sad. Sometimes I almost want to cry because I won't be sitting in a locker room like this anymore. All the times I've come in the middle of the night, changing into scrubs to do surgery. It's just a part of me that's always going to be there, and I'll always miss. But I know it's time to move on and open up another chapter in my life.
These young doctors who have gone through at least 8 years of schooling, and sometimes 4 years after that, and have $500,000 in student loans, 20% of them have already left medical practice within 5 years. What does that tell you? The medical system's not just broken for us, it's broken for them too. It's because of bureaucracy, the emphasis on profits. New doctors in practices, they're given 6 minutes per patient. Well, what is the risk to them? This is not treating patients. This is not being able to provide responsible healthcare. This is running patients down a conveyor belt to chase the almighty dollar. And then they get the shit suit out of them every time. There's a million things that can go wrong in the human body. You make a tiny mistake and, well, in this country, you're gonna get sued for millions. So you look at the amount of stress that causes, and that has got to be why doctors are leaving the medical field at an astonishing rate. In fact, to see how shocking it is, just since 2008, when the average age of doctors leaving their practice was nearly 60 years old, now, just 18 years later, the average age that a doctor leaves the medical field is 48. 48 years old, and they are already burned out.
Well, this is it. I'm done. Pulling in for my last trauma call. I've decided to end my neurosurgical career for the time being. Most of you don't know, but I turned in my resignation in the hospital about 3 months ago. It's time. I want to pursue other things in life. I was never around for my kids so much when they were little, and all I've really ever done is neurosurgery. And I feel like it's time for a new chapter in my life. So I've turned in my resignation. I have this week left of trauma call and a few more days, and I'm fully done with neurosurgery for the time being. And I want to do things that I want to do now. I want to get into a routine each day about staying healthy and exercising. And I want to spend time with my grandson, Archie, because I never had the time much to spend with my kids when they were little. I want to spend time with my wife. I want to start traveling a little bit. I want to spend time on my boat. Just do the things that I want to do. I'm still going to stay productive. I'm going to stay on social media. I actually want to increase what I do on social media, make it valuable for everybody out there. But for now, I want to step back from neurosurgery and do something else.
I recently gave up being a doctor. Well, not really. You can't just give up 20 years in medicine. It becomes you and you become it. But what I did give up was my GMC medical license. And here's why. As long as you hold that license, you are bound by a system that doesn't fully support intuitive medicine. It supports more of a pharmaceutical-based medical model. And there is a big difference. I still work with people's health every single day, but now I do it in a completely different way. I gave up my license so I could practice in the most expansive, holistic way possible, a way where nothing of worth is off the table, where everything of value is considered, as long as it's right for the person sitting in front of me. From nutrition, functional medicine, and somatic trauma work, to energy medicine, natural therapies used for millennia, and yes, even spirituality. All of that is considered completely off the table in the conventional medicine framework. But now, I can speak openly. My patients get the full, authentic me, and my decades of diverse experience. I no longer have to police every word for fear of ramifications. The conventional medical model works for what it was intended for, but I haven't met an intuitive doctor yet who feels truly supported by it. It's time for a change, and I'm so glad to be making it.
Why I quit my job as a physician, why I no longer practice medicine, why it was the best decision I have ever made in my life. So I was a pediatric hospitalist. I still am. I'm double board certified. They'll never be able to take that away. But I quit my job And I am now full-time in my business because while I've always wanted to help people, medicine no longer provided me with the autonomy and the sense of purpose that I was yearning for. I felt like I was just a warm body in a white coat. I was just there to make money for the powers that be, rather than me actually fulfilling my purpose.